Please join me in the singing of our national anthem. Greet your neighbors. Our invocation today will be given by Laura Neal.
A prayer for Worcester Rotary and our workday, adapted from a prayer by Bishop Charles Lewis Slattery. Let us pray. Dear Creator, whose hands hold all matters of life, give us the grace of success in the work that we do. Help us to give it the careful thought and the strict attention that will lead to success. Watch over us and govern our actions, that we may not mar its perfection. Show us how to give our best, and let us not despise the toil that is necessary to complete it. Make our lives successful ones, in that every duty you give to us, we do it well. And please give us the blessing of your help and guidance. Let us give thanks for the hands that have prepared today's feast, and please be with us as we enjoy the fellowship of Rotary, leaving this place today for another week of service above self. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Laura. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend. Enjoyed some of the warm weather. I know I did. Just a couple real quick announcements today. I'm going to keep my part brief because we have a busy agenda today. Just wanted to let you know that we're going to do on our March 28th meeting, we're going to do Years of Service Awards and Paul Harris Fellows. And we've got a couple 50-year awards to give out at that meeting. So just wanted you to be aware that's going to be coming up. Also, we wrapped up our Every Rotarian Every Year campaign last week. We haven't yet submitted the check to the district office. So if you have not yet had a chance to donate, we still have some time. So please get those in. And then lastly, the apparel sale, Chad and Brent were outside before the meeting. We'll be out there after the meeting. So if you don't have any Worcester Rotary apparel, please make sure you put in your order. Today's the last day they'll actually be at the meeting, but if you don't have your checkbook or whatever today, just get a hold of Chad or Brent after the meeting within the next week or so forth, and they can get that order in. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Secretary Lynn.
Thank you, President Terry. Past President Mike Steiner asked me if today was Smithy Day. In my world, every day is Smithy Day. So we welcome our Smithville guests, and they will be introduced just a little later in our program. Seth Buckwalter has a guest.
My guest today is my dad, Bill. He is the owner and founder of Ride On Bike Shop here in Worcester, interested in today's speaker.
would also like to invite forward two new members who are receiving their red badges. Matt Martin, who is our Fair Board Manager, Treasurer, and Secretary. He was proposed by Dave Gallipoo and Greg Long. Dr. Ken Schaefer, he's a retired cardiologist, and he was recommended by past President Ron Holman. Lee King will be doing a check presentation and an announcement, and after that, past presidents Doug Druschel and Peggy Schmitz will also be giving announcements.
So I'd like to introduce the Smithville Senior Class of 2022 a little bit here, but we're here to present a disbursement check to the senior class for their upcoming senior project. Just a brief history of the Patriot Committee funds that have been dispersed over since 2013. They've donated over $45,000 since 2013 to the local, just briefly, the Worcester Cemetery Association, Clearview Hope, Salvation Army, Vets Inc. There's a long list there of donations, but this year we are presenting a check of $500 to the senior class. Their class project is to install a motorized drop-down flag for the Wilbur L. Berkey Fieldhouse. You can see an example there in that image. They'll probably have their class name on there, but they're raising funds for that project. So here today from the senior class, we have Aiden Keener, who will come up. He's the 2022 class president. Brooke Fatzinger, class officer, and Brianne Watkins, class officer. Lillian Morgretz, vice president. She is not here today. And then Mr. Andy Bratcher is here. He was the driver for that today. So, that check.
I just want to say thank you guys. This means a lot to our class, and we're really excited to have you guys partner with us on this donation. And we're really excited to have this flag into our field house, sorry. And I'll just let you know, the Rotary Club will get their name on a plaque with like all the other donors too. It's going to be hanging right outside of the doors to the field house. So we're really excited to have this $500 from you guys.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How far along are they leaving their project?
Yep, thank you.
So donations have just started coming in, and we have about $1,000 now. And then our goal is about $7,000, but we have plenty of other donors coming in too. So, have any other questions?
There's still time to donate.
Yeah, there's still a ton of time to donate.
I also want to make an announcement. I'm the co-chair of the flag committee along with Josie Schmitz. You will see a email coming out to sign up this year for the flag program. So we are going to try something different this year, similar to the auction, where we want to get as much participation as possible for the flag year of 22. So there's going to be opportunities to sign up in pairs or individually. The flag committee co-chairs or subcommittee will eventually reach out to you after you've signed up. But we need help with flag maintenance, which is ongoing right now. Just a quick announcement, the Wayne County Schools Career Center Buildings and Grounds Committee came last Wednesday and went through 500 flags in one day. So they've been a huge help for our program over the years. We also need definitely help for troubleshooters throughout the year. You can sign up individually per holiday. And then also our spring marking is going to take an army basically to to get all the pipe sleeves set. So thanks to Tom Rumbaugh for organizing the flag maintenance and our other committee chairs. So look for that email. Thank you.
President Terry asked that I just give a quick report on some actions recently from the International Service Committee of the club. You'll see down here it says Rotary International. Both of those words are important. It is an international organization, and I'm pleased to report on three modest donations of $500 each, which the club has made. Number one, to Rotoplast International. Rotoplast provides free surgery for children in poor countries with cleft lip or palate problems. Second donation was to Days for Girls International. This organization addresses several Rotary priorities, including hygiene, mothers and children's causes, education, and growing local economies by providing kits that supply reusable menstrual and postpartum sanitary products. The third was Kokada. Some of you will remember that a couple of years ago, we had a program presented to us by Kokada, and they run a Central American operation, and Rotarians Tom Cole and Nate Addington led a team of College of Worcester students to, I think it was El Salvador, to oversee the clean water projects which they were working on. So we've included, that was the third donation which we made. COVID subsiding, perhaps it's time to think of another project here. Thank you.
I'm here today with a brief follow-up on the Oak Hill Park project and to let you know that it's not too late for you to participate. But as it is getting closer to tree planting time, the need to act sooner rather than later is becoming more urgent. So why should you be interested in this project? Recently, as you can see on the screen, Rotary International announced its newest official cause, protecting the environment, and challenged all of us as people of action to take on projects that can make positive, measurable, and sustainable impacts on the one place we all call home. When our anniversary committee began brainstorming community projects worthy of a 100-year celebration, we were thinking in terms of a sustainable beautification project. And that was even before our EYES announcement, I'm happy to say. Well, last week, as I listened to Ron telling about the 150-year-old oak tree on his farm, I got goosebumps thinking that someday my grandson's grandchildren would enjoy the trees that we are planting today at Oak Hill Park. And then yesterday, my family and I visited the Johnson Woods Nature Preserve in Marshallville and saw some trees there that were more than 400 years old. Yes, that's right, trees that are more than 150 years older than this country. So I think it's fair to say that the tree project checks the box for sustainability. But even beyond the enjoyment of our trees that can be expected to provide generations to come, there are many additional benefits. Just to name a few, trees protect the ozone by absorbing carbon dioxide, removing and storing the carbon, and releasing the oxygen back into the air for all of us to breathe. Trees clean the air by absorbing odors and polluted gases and by filtering out particulates, trapping them in their leaves and bark. Trees also filter more than half of the water supply in the United States, removing pollutants and sediments so that the water is easier and cheaper to clean before it gets to your tap. Trees prevent soil erosion and contribute to flood control. Trees preserve and provide wildlife habitats. And near and dear to my heart, trees boost our mental health and raise our physical health. There's nothing like a walk in the woods to lift your spirits and lower your blood pressure. Or as John Muir put it, into the forest I go to lose my mind and find my soul. So if you've already participated in this project, congratulations. And thank you for helping to protect the environment. If you haven't already done so, I hope you'll give it serious consideration. There are several copies of the pledge form on the table outside the door, and I'd encourage you to pick one up, or if there are not enough there, give me a shout and I'll see that you get one. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy.
Well, our flag project really allows us to do some great things. So we were appreciative and to be able to help the Smithville group here today. But our flag is the flag project of Worcester and Smithville. And we set aside 10% of the profits from that to benefit veterans programs. And that's the 10% that funded this particular one. So welcome to all of our guests. I'm glad to have you here and hope that you enjoy today's program. Before we get to our speaker, we do have a classification talk from a new member. So Tim Fox, I'll ask you to come up.
All right, thank you very much. Like you said, my name is Tim Fox, and from the classification side of it. In January 2013, I kind of took a leap of faith and left the nonprofit world and joined the banking world. And I joined PNC Bank at that time. And I feel very fortunate because when I took that career path, I started off in the branch working as a personal banker, then progressed to branch management, to small business, and now into the corporate commercial banking space. And what those time periods all taught me was the value of relationships, the value of partnerships, and how that can lead you in life. And it's truly blessed me from the very beginning. There's other bankers that are in this room, and we're all good people. They're all good banks. We're all good bankers. But at the end of the day, what we all try to do is develop trusted partnerships and relationships. So when I looked at the classification talk and some of the guidance that was given, that was one of the things. How does Rotary fit me? At the end of the day, my life has always been lived that way. How do you give back? It's always service above self. And to me, that's the value. How do I give back to my customers? How do I give back to the partnerships that I've had through the years? And that's how I truly have led my life. So from a banking standpoint, whether it's PNC, whether it's the other institutions, that's what we're here for. We're here for you, and we're here to provide the best guidance service and be trusted partners for you. So banking is banking.
Thank you, Tim. All right, at this time, I will turn it over to Don Noble to introduce today's speaker.
President Terry. Dan Rice is the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Ohio and Erie Canalway Coalition, headquartered in Akron. The Ohio and Erie Canalway Coalition is a regional nonprofit organization working for the conservation, development, and interpretation of the natural, historical, and recreational resources along the Ohio and Erie National Heritage Canalway from Cleveland to New Philadelphia, Ohio. Since 1994, Mr. Rice has worked with over 150 community partners and has raised over $75 million in development funds for the preservation of historic structures, the development of the 101-mile multi-use Ohio and Erie Canalway Towpat Trail, and the conservation of natural resources along the Ohio and Erie National Heritage Canalway. Dan is a native of Springfield, Ohio, with a BA in History from the College of Worcester and an MA in American History from the University of Akron. Upon receipt of his MA, Dan worked as a curator of interpretation for the Summit County Historical Society, where he was responsible for the preservation and conservation of over 250,000 artifacts, development of interpretive exhibits, and educational programming. As a leader in the heritage development movement, Dan has provided technical assistance to organizations and organizational development, building, public-private partnerships, fundraising strategies, management plans, and government relations. Dan is married to Nancy and lives in Cuyahoga Falls with their daughter Rachel. Please give a warm Mr. Rotary welcome to my friend and fellow trail builder, community builder, Dan Rice, as he presents on the Ohio and Erie Canalway Coalition.
Thank you very much, Don. It's always good when your friends and close associates get up and say something good about you. And Don Noble is one of the best friends that I have, so thank you very much. And it's great to see you all, actually. We're coming out of the pandemic. This is probably one of my earlier presentations, and it's always good to be in person. Those who actually are virtual, well, it's good to see you as well, because I guess you can see me. But really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you this afternoon to share with you some really exciting updates about a project that started over 60 years ago by someone I suspect many of you folks may be familiar with, Congressman Ralph Regula. Mr. Regula was an amazing individual, lived in Stark County, but I know he definitely represented Wayne County when he was in Congress. And quite frankly, we wouldn't have a project today if it wasn't for Congressman Ralph Regula. He had this dream and vision of preserving the Ohio and Erie Canal for future generations. That was really the essence of what it was about. Back in the 1960s, when people really weren't thinking about trails, and I know Don and I might have been toddlers at that point in time, or might not have been born then. Mr. Regula had this dream of let's save the canal. He actually got the idea from Chief Justice William O. Douglas, who was very instrumental in saving the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal that runs from Washington, D.C. to Cumberland, Maryland. And he actually did the exact same, he took a page out of Chief Justice William O. Douglas' book. He got a group, Chief Justice William O. Douglas got a group of reporters from Washington, and they walked all 184 miles. Mr. Regula went to the Canton Repository and got one reporter. And they walked all 20 miles in Stark County. And unfortunately, it was a day like today where it rained the entire time. And the reporter at that time was Alan Simpson. And Mr. Simpson wrote a headline the next day. It was 10 million, I think 20 million raindrops in 20 miles. And so from that very beginning, we are here today with a National Heritage Area, a 101-mile multi-use recreational trail that is used by over 2.5 million users. It generates an economic impact of $409 million on an annual basis, supports 3,200 jobs, and generates $34 million in tax revenue. And we're the northeastern leg of the Ohio to Erie Trail that my good friend Don is a great partner in which Wayne County is a key piece of the Ohio to Erie Trail. And so to me, that's really the honor and privilege of being able to work on a regional project like this. The gentleman preceding me, talked about partnerships and collaborations. That really is the foundation of our work. In 1996, Congress said they want us to go out there and build trails, preserve historic buildings, conserve natural areas, and do educational programming. But there's two catches. One, we're not going to give you all the money. Two, you don't have any authorities. So good luck. And that's in essence what they said back in 1996. But because of our partnerships and collaborations, and people like Sandra Hall, who's here with us today, who sat on our advisory committee for many, many years. Matter of fact, she deserves special recognition along with Congressman Ralph Regula. So please join me in giving Sandra a round of applause for her. So because of all those individuals who committed themselves to creating this real legacy project, we have an amazing resource today. This photograph here is a picture of what we call our Summit Lake ambassadors, who are helping to steward different sections of the trail in Akron, Ohio, because we really strongly believe that the best way to sustain a project like this is to get the young people involved. And so that's why I'm so glad to see our high school students here today. And if any of this sparks your imagination, I'd love to talk with you about it. Because we're always looking for young people who might be interested in carrying the torch to the next generation. Because you are the future, and really this is for you. Don and I get out there enjoying it from time to time, but it is for you. Let's see. I'm hitting the arrow and it's not. Okay, good. Thank you. The wrong arrow. Sorry about that. So we're a nonprofit organization. Like many nonprofits out there, our mission is a little bit broader. It's more of a regional mission. I already mentioned, kind of the main focuses there, all along the Ohio and Erie Canal from Cleveland down to Tuscarawas County. But we also work with other partners. If anybody needs help regarding trail development, and I know Don and I would definitely talk about trail development here in Wayne County. The question is, how might we be able to help each other? Because we're all in this together. And by working together, we really can create that regional legacy for future generations. And so you see the map there up on the screen, going through 4 counties. There's really about 3 to 4 major linkages. You have the Highway Erie Canal Towpat Trail, which is a multi-use recreational trail. We also have a roadway system called the Scenic Byway. So if you don't want to, hop on Interstate 77, you can go down, Canal Road, you can get out Old Route 21 and take more of a leisurely drive along the Highway Erie Canal. And then also the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad, which runs in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. That's also another way to experience the Highway Erie Canal Way. And we are just so blessed and fortunate to have so many partners, park agencies, corporations, foundations, planning agencies, nonprofit organizations, churches. I kind of jokingly say, if you've got a pulse in Northeast Ohio, we want to talk to you because we believe everybody has a stake in what we're working on. And the way we do it is really by engaging our residents in a lot of programming. And so these photographs that you're going to see here are examples of how we develop on the Ohio Erie Canal Way. And we do a lot of canal cleanups, litter cleanups. We want to connect people in some significant way to the resource. We partner very closely with our corporations. And this is actually as a picture of our Dominion partners. But again, you see some of the partners listed there who've decided to adopt sections of the trail because they recognize that it's actually good for their businesses because by having this recreational resource in their community, they're able to recruit doctors, engineers, and attorneys to come live in Northeast Ohio. When I first started this project, and unfortunately, Donzie mentioned this previously, but this is my 29th year with the organization. I started when I was 12. That's why I look so young, actually. But when I first started working on this project, people would kind of refer to it kind of as a tree hugger project. It's a nature project. And then we realized it really, and I'm not saying it's not nature, it's not recreation, but it's more than that. The hospitals are very interested in trails because as was referenced earlier regarding the trees, getting out in nature is good for us, not only physically, emotionally, spiritually, quite frankly, it's good to keep lower healthcare costs. And so for all those reasons, trails are really important to the future of our community, and that's why our corporate partners are supporting the project. We also believe in equity when we talk about parks, trails, and recreation, because not everybody can afford to purchase a bicycle. I know we got a bicycle shop owner there in the back, and that's great. And we want to sell as many bicycles as we can, but not everybody can afford a bicycle. So that's why in Summit County, we have something called a bicycle share. And we have about 8 different locations in which if you just show an identification or a driver's license or a credit card, you can borrow a bicycle for 2 hours and they return the bicycle. And this past year, we actually had over, we see since 2016, over 750 usage. But this past year, we had over 300. So it's definitely something that's very popular. I mentioned about our Summit Lake Ambassador program. We can't get enough hands. I mean, certainly we have a great park agency. We have great city services, but they also are stretched, to be perfectly honest with you. So if we can recruit our young people to assist us with stewarding these public spaces, and these are Summit Lake Ambassadors actually assist with taking care of the Highway Erie Canal Towpat Trail at Summit Lake during the summertime. And they get paid $10 an hour. And so in addition to helping to steward the space, they actually are earning money. For many of these youth, it's the first job they've ever had. And the reason they're referred to as ambassadors because they have those wonderful fluorescent yellow vests. You can't miss them. And that's intentional, quite frankly, because trail users would actually come up with them and actually thank them for helping to steward the trail. And we had told them, the adults aren't going to speak about, they're going to ask you what you're doing. You need to communicate about why it is that you're doing this. And so it gives them an opportunity to have experience in public speaking as well. Some of the projects that they've worked on, certainly litter cleanup, landscaping, planting, even painting some of the tables there. And it really builds a sense of pride and ownership in a public space because we really want to break that legacy of things done to and not with, and things in promise and not deliver. Another one of our accomplishments that we were able to achieve last year was the republication of our Towpat Companion Guide. This is a complete guide to the Ohio Erie Canal Towpat Trail. It has information about where to park, trailhead, places to eat, as well as historical information. And to help see the question and answer period, I have a couple of free copies up here for folks who would be interested in asking any questions. In addition to, think of the Towpat Trail as the trunk of a tree, we are also interested in making branches of that tree. And there actually are copies of the Summit County Trail Map at your tables. If you do not have a copy at your tables, we have a couple more copies up here. But the reason why this is really important is that not everybody's going to live right next to the Towpat Trail. Some people are going to live in communities that might be 5 or 10 miles away from the trail, but yet they want to get access to it. And so that's what the Summit County Trail Plan provides. It has, over 100 miles of regional connector trails. And we are working with each of the communities in Summit County to provide assistance to the planning and development and operations and maintenance of these regional connector trails. Summit County was actually one of the first counties in the state of Ohio to provide county revenue, actually grant dollars for the development of the trail. And you see, since they provided that first grant over 20 years ago, we've awarded 111 grants. That's total of $1.5 million. But what's really powerful from our perspective is that 1.5 leveraged $25 million of private, local, state, and federal investment. And some people want to say, well, why should we be building trails when we can't, pave the roads? Well, here's why. You can't use trail money to pave the roads. And there are specific funds out there at the local, state, and federal level specifically for trail development. And my response has always been, I would like to see those tax dollars come back to Ohio, whether it's Worcester or Akron or Dover, New Philadelphia, than another state across the nation, because we pay for those tax dollars. And what we've also found is when you have a trail plan, when you go in to apply for federal funds or state funds or even local funds, your grant project goes up higher because you now have a regional trail plan that shows how it fits into a regional network. I know Don and I talked about the importance of possibly maybe creating a Wayne County Trails plan. I know, again, through Don's tremendous work at Wayne County Rails and Trails, you're doing wonderful work and you're an important part of the Ohio Erie Trail. But if we can help with a countywide trail plan, we'd be happy to have that conversation. But really, more importantly, what we've learned over the past couple of years is, as a result of the pandemic, as a result of the conversation regarding racial injustice, is that our work is now more important than ever. Because when the world shut down about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where did people go? To the parks, to the trails. Couldn't go to the malls, couldn't go to the libraries, couldn't go to a movie theater. And so that's really a lesson that we've taken away, that parks and trails are no longer considered non-essential services. They are essential services. They are just as important as water, electric, roads. Some new developments regarding the Towpat Trail. We just recently completed the section down in Bolivar. It's a quarter-mile section. So now you can ride your bicycle uninterrupted from Cleveland all the way down to Zorville, a distance of 90 miles. The remaining miles of the trail are in planning and development. These are actually some pictures of the trail development. And I think you'd be hard-pressed to guess where that was in Cuyahoga Valley National Park, Stark Park. It looks just as beautiful as every other section of the trail. That's actually underneath the railroad embankment. I know Don's got a lot of experience working with railroads as well. But this is actually a Wheeling and Lake Erie line, and we had to create that kind of protection area just underneath the rail line there. We have a lot of events in our programs, and what I really like about our events and programs is we connect people to the resource. So if you like riding a bike, if you like bird watching, if you like canoeing, if you like running, if you like golf even, if you like to fish, we're going to connect you in some meaningful way with the resource. And those are just some examples of our activities. And here's some pictures of our events that we've had throughout the years. Cleveland Clinic, Akron General Towpat 50, bicycle event, canoeing event, our fishing derby. And we just really try to connect people to the resource to get them involved with the project. Some of our other developments, I mentioned, down in Tuscarawas County, we're working on the remaining 9 miles to get down to the city of New Philadelphia. Those are in planning and design as we speak. We work with the Tuscarawas County Commissioners to get a Ohio Department of Transportation grant, and another 4 miles of the Ohio Erie Canal Towpat Trail will hopefully be under construction by 2023. And our goal was to complete all 101 miles by 2025. That's what we're putting the stake in the ground. And with our generous support of all of our partners, hopefully we'll be able to make that a reality. And I'd just like to close on a couple signature projects that we're working on over in Akron and Summit County. And these are all adjacent to the Ohio Erie Canal Towpat Trail. The first project is Summit Lake. It's really an important resource because the lake actually provides water to the Ohio Erie Canal. Captain Richard Howe was an engineer And he basically created the Erie Canal to go through Summit Lake. We worked very closely with our neighborhood residents to ask them what they would like to see at the Summit Lake North Shore. And so this is a rendering of what is to come at the Summit Lake North Shore. This is a $10 million park project, which I'm very pleased to say to you today is actually fully funded. It is under design as we speak. The Ohio Erie Canal Towpat Trail goes along the east side or the right side of the screen that you have up there. And some people have asked, well, why doesn't the trail go all the way around the lake? If you go in any lake in this country, there'll be a trail all the way around the lake. So that's the first project we're going to be developing. And they'll have a groundbreaking for that in May. But the other things we've heard from neighborhood residents is they'd like to have a pavilion where they can have birthday parties and wedding receptions or retirement parties. And this is a rendering of what that could look like. And all these products that you see here are a product of the relationship that we developed with our neighborhood residents. So they're not my ideas, they're not the city of Akron's ideas, it's the neighborhood residents' ideas. Just kind of quickly scroll through these slides here. And unfortunately, Summit Lake has had a legacy where we've abused the lake, to be perfectly honest with you. Industry pumped water out of the lake for their industrial purposes and then pumped the dirty water back in the lake. But what's amazing is, despite that, Summit Lake is an absolutely beautiful 100-acre lake in the center of the city. There's blue heron, kingfishers, osprey, and even the beaver and otter in the lake. And then the last project I'll just share with you briefly is at Lock 3 Park, again, right along the Towpat Trail in downtown Akron. Many people know it as a concert, festival, and event facility. It doesn't look like what you see up on the screen. I suspect many folks have been to Lock 3 Park. But what we've heard from residents is they'd like to have a place to sit that's shaded. If you want to get a suntan, that's the place to go today. But if you don't want a suntan, it's not exactly a 365-day park. So here are some renderings of what it could look like. Looking into the park, lush gardens, green space, places to sit, and again, right along the Ohio Erie Canal Towpat Trail. There's going to be a gateway entrance up in the Cleveland area. There's going to be a gateway entrance down in New Philadelphia. We think there should be a gateway park just in the center of Akron. And we just had an announcement last week where the city of Akron is using $3.5 million of their American Rescue Act plan funding. And again, we've raised $10 million to construct this park. It is under design, and we will have a groundbreaking in September of this year. And I'm going to leave you on that note. But thank you very much for the opportunity to be with you this afternoon. I appreciate your tremendous support for parks, trails, and open spaces. I know after a party meal like we've had today, we could use a good walk out there. But we really, truly believe that parks, trails, and open spaces are legacies for future generations. So thank you very much. I'd be happy to answer any questions anytime. Yes, yes, sir.
I presume you have a way for people to become, members of the organization. Can you give us a rundown of the membership levels? Thank you.
I promise that was not somebody I planted in the audience. Absolutely. And I really appreciate you saying that. I do actually have membership brochures, and if folks, we maybe want to share them. We have actually up here, but you can join for as little as $10 because we need everybody's help and assistance. And that was the one thing that Mr. Regular was always very cognizant of, is that this is for everybody. It doesn't matter what your pocketbook or what your check is. It's just everybody can give, everybody can serve. And so we not only have membership levels, but we also have opportunities for people to volunteer. Those Summit Lake ambassadors I shared with you, they were supervised by 6 residents who volunteered their time. And what was really awesome about that is that not only are the kids getting paid, not only are they stewarding a space, now you're doing cross-generational learning. And when we did the year-end evaluation, one of the pieces of feedback we got from the adult team leaders was they got more out of the program than the kids did, because what the kids gave back to them. So we have many, many ways to donate, but people are interested in supporting us. They can still go to our website, ohioeriecanal.org. And we also have endowments established to take care of these spaces, because that's a high priority for our organization. It's not just, you just can't raise money to build the spaces. You have to raise money to take care of the spaces. And that's a big priority, I know, for myself, and I know Don does an amazing job with the Wayne County Rails and Trails.
Question in the chat,
Uh-oh.
where is Summit Lake, what town?
Thank you. Thank goodness I didn't have to do anything here. I was afraid that I'd break down the system. So where is Summit Lake? What town? Great question. And I'm sorry, you're on virtual. I can't get your Towpat companion, but maybe we can see if we can do that. But Summit Lake is right in Akron, Ohio. It's right in the center of the Ohio and Erie Canalway. And like I said, the Ohio and Erie Canal goes right through Summit Lake. And so for those reasons, that's why it's really important to our organization. The engineer who built the Ohio and Erie Canal, Captain Richard Howe, we restored his home in Akron. And so there's a real strong connection to that. And that's why it's really important that we make Summit Lake a destination as opposed to a place that is not taken care of. So thank you for that question, Mary. Thank you.
What percentage of the trails are handicap accessible?
That's a great question. What percentage of the trails are accessible for any type of disability? And because we use a variety of fundraising sources, and also because we believe in equity, from all sorts of equity, all the trails that we work on are less than 5% grade. And so that means that anybody with an ability in a wheelchair, a scooter, can use them from a grade perspective. But the other thing that we're very cognizant of is that not everybody can go great distances on trails. There are some people who, want to go 20, 30, 50, 100 miles. Probably most people want to go 5 or 10 or 15 actually. And so, or maybe even just walk a mile or two. So we also try to be very cognizant of putting benches along the trail so that people can sit and relax. And so we try to take all those things into consideration. I know when we're doing the design for Summit Lake Park and Lock 3 Park, those are really important factors. For instance, at Lock 3 Park, originally it wasn't going to have any steps at all, because ideally you want to design a trail or a public space for an 8-year-old or an 80-year-old. And the reason for that is if an 8-year-old, they want to be able to run around without having to trip on anything. And the same thing with an 80-year-old. You want to be able to walk around without having to look at the ground all the time. So it's a great question, and it's something that we really try to be cognizant of. And Don's got a gift up here for you.
Maybe you can speak to e-bikes and what's your stance?
Don's seeding the conversation up here. He asked about electronic bicycles, and I'll give you 2 answers. How's that? The organization's response is that they're allowable. The state of Ohio, a number of years ago, passed a law, certain classes and certain speeds. And so they are allowable on trails in general. And I think personally, I also think that they provide accessibility, particularly in hills. But on the Towpat Trail, there aren't too many hills. There's a couple in Akron and by Barberton by PPG Industries. So that's one perspective. I have another personal perspective that it does concern me a little bit with the speed. I've noticed some of our park partners put up signs that say a speed limit, and that's all fine and good, but you got a little radar gun out there. I mean, are you going to enforce it, I guess? And so I guess it's just a balancing act. I certainly want to be accessible. I know on certain sections of the trail, they're heavily used, and speed is not your friend when there's a lot of users out there. And so I worry about conflicts. So I think the key thing is education. If you're going to have an e-bike, just make sure you're being respectful of the speed, and be respectful of walkers, be respectful of horseback riders, be respectful of people walking dogs and pushing baby strollers, because that's what we need. Is we just need to be caring and considerate out there on using the trails. So I hope that's a balanced answer. Yes, ma'am.
Do you accept bicycles? That you said you have bicycle sharing. So if we have a really good bike, do you accept them? Or?
We would be happy to, and we would appreciate that. That's very kind of you. We would welcome any donations, and what we do, we would make that available within our bicycle share system. We also have a bicycle. We will be developing a bicycle share I'm sorry, a canoe share at Summit Lake. Because a lot of people have canoes and kayaks, they don't have places to store them. And again, a lot of people cannot afford to rent a canoe or kayak. And so the arrangement that we'll make is anybody who wants us to store their canoe or kayak, we will do that. There will be no charge. But with the understanding that their canoe or kayak might be used by a resident or somebody visiting Summit Lake. The city of Philadelphia does that program. It's very successful. And so absolutely, thank you very much for mentioning that. And we would be happy to talk about it with you later. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. We appreciate you stopping to visit us and giving us an update on the Erie Canal Trail. I appreciate your comments about it's more than just a trail or a connector. It's the experience. I know as somebody who spends a lot of time in an office, I always feel a sense of renewal when I get out there on the trail. So we appreciate you being here with us today. In recognition of your time with us, we have this rendition of our rotary wheel with our four-way test on the back, and it's made locally by the village network. Thank you very much. So a couple quick announcements. Next week, our program will be Vic Shantz, and it will be the history of the Shantz Organ Company. So you may remember this was scheduled for November, and that was the day there was no heat in the church. So Vic got rescheduled. We'll also have a classification talk from one of our new members. And just a reminder, Chad and Brett will be out there for the apparel sale today. So have a great week, Rotarians. We stand adjourned.
Actually, the